Welcome to Chapter Sass, the podcast where we deep dive into the books that make you blush, gasp, and maybe even think a little. I'm your host, Season, and with every book, I'll be joined with a new co-host with their own hot take. From spicy romances to messy love triangles, and all the glorious chaos in between, we're here with a fresh perspective to unpack the stories we love, question what we think we know, and explore how the book speaks to us. Things might even get a little sassy. This episode is rated mature and will contain spoilers. Let's get into the first chapter. Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with my co-host, Vanessa. Say hi, Vanessa.
I'm back.
We're going to be talking about Twisted Games today. This is the second book in the Twisted series by Ana Huang. This recently did get picked up by Netflix, so it is going to be a new show. So I'm excited for it. And there's spice. So again, just like Bridgerton, we'll see. There's significantly much more spice in all of these than Bridgerton. And Bridgerton has definitely, in the TV shows, cut out a lot of the spice. So I don't know if they're going to show us 90% of the spicy scenes that are in here. But we'll get into it.
Maybe it'll be like Bridgerton mixed with like that, remember that show Sex Life? It was on Netflix too. I think I might have the title wrong, but that's what I'm picturing in my head.
Yeah, maybe. Or like The Secret Life of College Girls or something like that. That's on HBO. That one has just the right amount of and has like a great plot and setting.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you drinking today, Vanessa?
I got some tea in my mom cup.
Oh, I love it.
I got it for Mother's Day.
In your mom cup? Yes. Oh, does it have the baby's names on it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just drinking some good old champagne. Actually, not champagne because champagne only comes from Champagne, France. Technically Prosecco, but
nice.
Yes. Everyone else would probably be like, it's champagne. Bubbles. Well, cheers. Clinks through the video. All right, guys, let's get into the first chapter. Really quickly, note to reader. So this is actually inside the book. It says, this story takes place over 4 years and includes several time jumps, especially in part 1. And then it brings the book to the present. And it overlaps with timelines in the book before and Twisted Lies. So just know that part 1 takes place through the epilogue of Twisted Lies, so like the past, and then the present takes place after. So there are a few scenes, like, again, I already said spoilers, but like they go into like when she got kidnapped, because she got kidnapped in Twisted Lies. So it's essentially like leading up to it, and then it like leads into the present. So part 1, we meet our protagonist, Princess of Eldora, Bridget, and her last name is like Von whatever. I'm not gonna pronounce that.
Von Oshberg.
We're just gonna call her Bridget. Yeah. I'm just gonna call her Bridget. And she's volunteering at an animal shelter. And she has a lot going on in her life. So her bodyguard Booth is leaving for paternity leave in a few weeks, and then moving back to Eldora to be with his wife and child, which he should. So glad that that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
She loves Booth. She loves Booth like a dad or a brother. Like he's been her bodyguard and except for like 4 years. So, she's like developed a connection with him. Then she's also graduating from college soon. So that's like a new life twist going on in her life. She does not want to be queen at all. That is something else. She loves her freedom that she has as being, the spare. And then something else that we know is that her brother Nikolai will take the throne once their grandfather, King Edward, steps down. And then once Nikolai has children, she would be bumped further down the line of succession. And again, Bridget's happy about this. Like, she's not at all trying to be queen. She's like, she loves her freedom. And with that, she barely has freedom, right? Like, she still has to like, be responsible. She can't like go crazy like Jules or whatever, like on a Friday night. So,
yeah.
But she's just very happy not to be like next in line.
Mm-hmm.
So Bridget is also meeting her new bodyguard. And when she first meets Rhys Larson, Bridget is like instantly attracted to him. But the attraction is killed immediately when Bridget realizes Rhys will be much stricter than Booth. Like, he literally like meets her, doesn't even say hi. He's like, you need to move from your house. It's like a death trap or whatever. um, and Bridget just, again, she just wants to live as close as a normal college student as she can as being a princess. Like she still has royal duties.
Mm-hmm.
Rhys
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want Bridget to attend crowded events at the last minute because there's not enough time to like perform any security measures or anything. And Bridget's pretty much like, fuck you. Like I've been
I've been doing this.
doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Booth didn't have a problem with it. And he's just like, you can't, like, we can't be doing this anymore.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not Booth.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, I don't know how he was your bodyguard for this long. As the weeks go on, the two of them have some like friendly, like lover banters, but they're pretty much just essentially getting on each other's nerve. Bridget calls Rhys Mr. Larson, and he calls her Princess.
Mm-hmm.
Rhys Rhys tries to get to know Bridget a little bit better while she's like volunteering at the animal shelter, and it's been like a few weeks. So like they're volunteering at the animal shelter, and he's like, "Why an animal shelter?" Also, like Rhys has like bodyguard or protected other royals, and so like Bridget's just different. And Bridget says it's because of her mother, because her mom died in childbirth, and she loved animals. So this is just one of the ways that she feels like she can just like be close to her mother, which I was like, oh, like honestly, like that's really sweet. We also find out that like Bridget's dad died in a car accident getting ice cream or something that she wanted, and I think she was like 8 or something. She was very young, but she feels responsible. She feels responsible for killing her. She thinks she killed her mom because her mom died in childbirth, and then her dad died in a car accident, like getting ice cream or something for her, and she just like two of those people like died on my watch, so she's already feeling like kind of guilty.
Mm-hmm.
While they're having like this exchange, Rhys says he doesn't like to do drugs or alcohol. Rhys is also feeling like some attraction to Bridget, but he's like, I'm your bodyguard. Like, I can't cross this line. So now it's Christmas break, and Bridget heads back to Eldora. And when they land, Bridget heads straight to the cemetery, and he doesn't understand why. And then finally, when um, she's like speaking to two graves, she realizes, oh, it's her mom and dad. Like she's just like, because again, she lives like in New York. And he's like really touched by this moment. And then all of a sudden, like he hears cameras going off, and it's the paparazzi. And so Rhys like goes, destroys the camera, and like tells the paparazzi person like get out.
Uh-huh.
And Bridget just like, she's very touched that like he did this, but she's like, it comes with the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, and I quote, and I'm going to say this quote like 4 times throughout this episode, just so you know, but the quote is, unless I'm in the palace, there is always a chance what I do will end up in the papers. So I think that's like a huge foreshadowing line. Also, I feel like this line has to be in the Netflix.
Oh,
Like,
dang,
like
I
you
didn't
get what I
even think
mean?
about that.
Yeah. Like this, like if
That's
Netflix
crazy.
like really does this, like this line has to be like they have to do this because of like what happens later on in life. Like unless I'm in the palace, there is always a chance of what I do will be end up in the papers. Like foreshadowing to its fullest.
Wow, I didn't even catch that.
uh, so Bridget and Rhys, you know, Christmas is over. They head back to the States, and Bridget informs Rhys that her favorite band is coming to DC, and she and Ava already brought tickets.
Mm.
And again, let's remember back in Ava's book about like what happens in DC. Rhys said he'll look into the venue and he'll see. He looks in, he's like, too dangerous, you can't go. And Bridget's like not having it. So she like sneaks out at night, and we all know she gets kidnapped by Ava or Alex's uncle. Um, but Risa put like a tracking chip in her phone, so he was able to find her. And again, we know at the end of Twisted Lies that like everything ends up okay, essentially. Because Reese got there, Alex killed his uncle and whoever, but
Yep.
she was kidnapped. So when they get home, Reese is like pissed and yells at Bridget. And while they're angry, he's getting aroused and she's also getting aroused. Like I guess there's a fine line between angry and like getting turned on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
As it is in the
um,
series.
yeah. And during all this, Bridget and Reese essentially come to the agreement that he will no longer keep a chip in her phone as long as for the next 4 months she does whatever he says when it comes to security. And then Bridget also asks that if Reese can keep the kidnapping a secret, and he ultimately agrees. But like, if anyone finds out about this, like that's his job, like because she did technically get kidnapped on his watch. So during the 4-month agreement, Bridget is supposed to like go to this music festival with her friends. And the book doesn't specifically say like if it's only juniors and seniors or like upperclassmen, but it does say that like they've been planning this to go to this for years. So my assumption is like it's like a senior thing. It's only upperclassmen that they can't go. And they've been planning this since forever.
Mhm.
And Rhys says it's too risky. You can't go. And because of the agreement that Bridget has, she doesn't go. And she's bummed because, again, Booth would have let her go, but like she's been planning this with her girlfriends. Her girlfriends go without her. But what he ends up doing, what Rhys ends up doing at night is like when she's sleeping, he like decorates the living room. So it's like a festival, an inside festival, and he brings like a tent and s'mores and like all the things, you know, that because
Very
she
cute.
can't experience it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then Rhys says, like when Bridget wakes up and like goes and sees it, and she's like, "Oh my god, like this is so amazing, thank you." He says that it was Jules' idea. He like helped Jules when she was in the shower, like before she went to bed, and she like really believes him at this point. But she does find out later that like it was really Reese's idea,
Hmm.
and she like truly begins to fall for him there.
Yeah.
So now it's family graduation. Ava's heading to London for a year-long photography fellowship, which again we know. Jules and Stella are staying in DC, and we get a little bit more about that in Jules and Stella's book. I mean, and Bridget has to move back to New York to do Andora's Royal Ambassador program, like thing. She's gonna do all the stuff there, but she's not going back home. She's going to New York. Meanwhile, Bridget's family had like a royal emergency, and so they couldn't come to her graduation. So once again, Rhys comes through. He takes her out to an Ethiopian restaurant, and that turns out to be like Bridget's favorite food. And it's essentially like their unofficial first date.
Yeah.
And so Bridget asks, like, why did you do all this for me? Because again, she now knows that he did the inside festival, and she's like, you've made my graduation something nice because I couldn't celebrate with my friends, my family couldn't come because of whatever. And he responds, because I understand what it's like to be alone. And I take this from the book, and it says, the word struck harder than it should have. It wasn't physical love. I was surrounded by people all day, every day, but no matter how much I tried to pretend I was a normal college student, I wasn't. I was a princess. It meant glamour and celebrity, but it also meant bodyguards and round the clock protection, bulletproof vests, and a life that was planned, not lived. And I was just like, oh, he's like really sweet, like he's like doing all these like sweet little things for her. And again, like they're not supposed to be attracted to each other or anything. So then after dinner, they go take a stroll in the park. As if kidnapping wasn't bad enough, this girl, there's like a gunman in the park. And the gunman's not too far from like where Rhys and Bridget are. And like Rhys like throws Bridget like behind a tree. But the guy who's being targeted also has like a son. And Rhys is like, it's gonna take too long for authorities to get in. So he's an ex Navy SEAL. Like it's not like he's not used to being around guns or anything. And he like gets in the middle and stops the gunman.
Yep.
Yeah, everything turns out to be fine. Rhys was just grazed by the bullet, but essentially Bridget freaks out, and she just thinking in her head like, I could have lost Rhys. And then Rhys is freaking out because he's like, I could have lost Bridget, and he's not thinking like I could have lost her as a client. He's like really feeling like I could have lost more than that. And so while in like the back of the ambulance, like Rhys allows Bridget to like he hugs her, and then they have like again a really good embrace and everything. It's a few months after graduation, and Rhys and Bridget are in New York. Bridget has tried to go on a few dates, but Rhys chases them all away, and he's jealous, but he can't tell her he's jealous. So yeah, it's. I will say at this point, it's a very much of a slow burn until we get to like the first spicy scene. You're like,
Oh,
when are these two just gonna like do it at this
the
point?
there's lots of, yeah, slow burn, lots of yearning. Like I listened to it on audiobook and I forget how many hours it was, but I'm pretty sure I was like already halfway through listening to it and I was like, nothing has happened yet. They haven't even kissed yet. I don't think they've even talked about them liking each other yet.
Well, there's a lot of like they fantasize. So like he's just like while he's yelling, he's
Yeah.
like, I just wish I could like do this to her. So we do get like a lot of like fantasy or like what they envision, but we don't get anything serious yet. Bridget gets a phone call that her brother's in the hospital. So she's like flies back to Eldora. And this is when Bridget learns, like when they're on the airplane, that like Rhys's mom died from an overdose, and he doesn't really have much of a family. He never met his father. Dun 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 dun. Father's very important later. Uh, so then Bridget goes to the hospital where and finds out her grandfather's fine. He has a rare undiagnosed heart condition, and it usually shows up in patients who like experience extreme stress or anxiety, because that's what triggers it. And he's king, so lots of stress, lots of anxiety. So pretty much like his whole job just triggers this. So Bridget and her brother pretty much catch up, and Nikolai tells Bridget that he has asked Sabrina, his American flight attendant girlfriend, to marry him. There's also a law though, that there's the royal marriage law, that you have to marry someone of noble blood if you're like royalty.
Yeah.
So since Sabrina is not noble blood, he is abdicating. And Nikolai will announce their engagement in about a month and a half. And so this now means Bridget is next in line for the throne. And remember, in the beginning, she's like, I don't want to be queen. I'm trying to be the furthest thing away from queen.
Yeah.
So she's just like shocked. And in the book, it turns out that like a lot of people knew before her, and she was like to her brother, like, I'm your sister. Like I should have been one of the first people that you should have told, and you didn't.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't say this. I don't think it does, but I'm pretty sure the grandfather went into the hospital because of this announcement. Because later on he goes into the hospital again because of Bridget, but like I feel like he was under a lot of stress. Your heir, essentially, the next person in line just said, I'm not going to be the next person in line because I'm choosing love. So that leaves your granddaughter, who has
Who's not
not been
prepared for
raised.
this?
Yeah, who's not prepared for this to
Yep.
be it. So I equally probably would have gone to the hospital. It doesn't like say that's the reason why, but I just feel like that's the reason why. And so some weeks pass, and then, because again, now everyone else knows, or everyone who's important needs to know that like Nikolai's advocating. And so she's like, they're figuring out how they're going to announce that she's going to be next in line, but it's only like the director or the communications like secretary. So it's only like Elaine. It's like the grandpa. It's only like the need to know people. So
Mm-hmm.
some weeks pass, and Bridget's on a rooftop somewhere in the palace. Um, and it does note that there are like 2 lawn chairs that are there. And Bridget's just getting tipsy because she has 1 month left before they announce like she's going to be next in line, or I guess crown princess, because her brother is crown prince right now. So essentially, in her head, that is 1 month of freedom.
Yeah.
Rhys finds her on this rooftop, and they have like a moment, and he jokes, and he's like, why are there 2 lawn chairs? And she's just like, oh, I wish one day I could like share this with somebody. So like that comes back later for us, but like I thought that was a cute little thing. But essentially, this moment that they have is ruined because Bridget makes a comment about moving back to Eldora, which is the first time Rhys is hearing about this, because if she moves back, then she'll have the royal guards and there's no need for him. And at this point, again, he's falling in love with her. So he loves her more than like a client. He
Yeah.
gets pissed, and leaves. So they're back in New York. And Bridget only has like a month left. So she's been flirting with men up and down. Like she's just trying to go out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
Rhys is like cutting all of this down. But then Bridget gets like drunk one night, and she pretty much throws herself at like this one guy, Vincent Hans. I think that was his name. I forgot. But Vincent, yeah. Rhys gets like really jealous and is like, we're going home because you're drunk. Like, you don't know what you're doing. They get into an argument when they're back at home. And while they're getting to this argument, Rhys is like getting really turned on, and so is Bridget. At this point, Bridget also just wants to fuck someone before she like can't do anything fun. So I mean, I get it. Like
That was
once
on her
my
list,
life will
right?
be under scrutiny. Yeah. Like once my
Okay.
life's under scrutiny. Yeah. So during all this, Bridget says like, oh, at this point though, sorry, I want to say this. They're both feeling what the other one's putting down. Like they're not saying it, but
Yeah.
like Bridget is recognizing that like Rhys is into her, or
Mm-hmm.
like feels some type of want for her. And Rhys is also getting the same thing back from Bridget. Like he can feel that there are times that like she clearly wants him. So
Yeah.
they're literally like teetering that line. So like while they're drunk and they're yelling at each other, Bridget says, do you want me, Mr. Larson? They fight some more. Then Rhys grabs Bridget, spins her around into the dresser, and he like kind of like chokes her, but like bends her over backwards, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to fuck you," but because she's drunk, he doesn't want to cross that line. He wants like
Yeah.
be like, "You're drunk, go to bed." Uh, so then Rhys is like, "Why the fuck are you acting this way?" And so Bridget finally tells him that this is her last shot of freedom, and she has a bucket list, and her bucket list consists of 4 things on it. One, to go somewhere no one knows or cares who I am. Two, to read, eat, and sunbathe all day without having to worry about the next event or waking up early the next day. Three, do an adrenaline rush activity her grandfather would yell at her for. And four, have an orgasm I didn't give myself. Which, because of Rhys, like she can't date or do anything anymore. So Rhys
Rhys
sends Bridget to bed.
Rhys was like, shit.
He's like, "Do I do this?" And like Bridget, like she's drunk. She's like, "But you can help me with like number 4." He's like, "Go to bed. Like, don't."
I need a cold shower.
I need a cold shower. I think he does take a cold shower. I think they say, and
Oh,
like
does he?
he just like can't, yeah, he like can't get anything out of his head. Um,
I feel like all the
so
men in the books are constantly taking cold showers in like the first half of the book.
yes. So while he's like thinking about all this, Rhys tells himself he wants Bridget safe, but he realizes that he wants her happiness more. And that's just like an awe moment because like he realizes, oh, like he understands now why she's been acting this way. She is going to, lose her freedom. He understands why he may not have his job anymore. But because he wants to see her happy, he plans a last minute trip to Costa Rica. So in Costa Rica, Rhys takes Bridget to a very like remote city, like on a hill.
Mhm.
And it's like the house is like a huge mansion that like has a pool that like leads out to the ocean. So this is supposed to be so she could spend most of her days like reading, eating, doing whatever she wants. So items 1 and 2 have been checked off her list. They go to like a remote area. No one knows about her. And again, she can do whatever she wants. And I think it's like 5 days that they're there.
Okay.
And so then he takes her ziplining as the adrenaline thing. So that's the third item off her list. I will say, not that ziplining's not like an adrenaline rush, but I feel like that's like a safe.
I thought
Like I
so
feel like she could
too.
do that. Yeah, like she could do that as queen. Like
I thought she was gonna go like skydiving or something.
yeah, well, in the book it says like go skydiving or like swimming with the sharks or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I totally see someone being able to zip line as a royal. You're literally on. There's not something super dangerous about that. I feel like you're like hoisted on a rope
Yeah.
in a thing. I mean, yeah, I guess you could fall, but what are the chances? Like, how many people have actually fell off a zip line? I feel like none.
I hope not a lot.
So it's their last day in Costa Rica, and Bridget invites Rhys to swim with her in the pool, and she wears like her most skimpiest bikini while she's doing this. While in the pool, and so he gets into the pool with her. While in the pool, Bridget notices Rhys's back is full of scars, and Rhys tells him that his mother like did that. He grew up like essentially being abused. Like his mom hit him with the belt all the time. And Rhys tells Bridget that his mom fell in love while a man was on a business trip, and he ended up getting her pregnant. The man didn't want anything to do with the child, so ended up leaving. And the mom always blamed the kid for ruining her happiness, and she turned to drugs and alcohol. So obviously, this kid is Rhys, which is why Rhys doesn't like drink or do anything because he's seen the negative impacts of that.
Hmm.
So Bridget like starts to kiss like Rhys's back, and then she tells Rhys to kiss her, and that there's one more item on her bucket list, and she's sober. Like she knows exactly what she's doing. Like I'm about to be announced, crown princess. Like let's do this. So the next chapter is a very spicy chapter. Um, they don't actually have sex because he says I forget what he said, but they do almost everything but that. So let your imagination run wild. Um,
Yeah, he's like, we can't do that because if we do, then you won't be able to be with anybody else. Like you're gonna be
mm,
mine
yeah, so like
or
they don't
something.
do that, but they do like everything else.
Yeah.
They're like in the bed, in the shower, all types of stuff. Technically, what was on her list was just give me an orgasm. So he gave her multiple orgasms, but they didn't actually do it. So
Mm-hmm.
now that's like on the back of her list or in the back of her mind. So then they have to leave Costa Rica, which she's very sad about. They have to head back to New York, but Rhys or Bridget asked Rhys if he would temporarily move to Andorra to be her bodyguard while they work on the transition because so much has changed in her life. And she's like, I just want one thing constant. And she's like, you're my constant for right now. And he's like, I'll think about it, but he doesn't like give her an answer. It's the day of the press conference where her brother will let everyone know, that he is stepping down. And so it happens, and Bridget heads to the press conference. If you remember in the epilogue of Twisted Lies, like Rhys was like pushing her out into the conference with like his hand on her lower back, and Alex was always like, "Ooh, I have to like make sure to like keep that in check." This is where part one ends, so it
Yeah.
ends like right there. Dun 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 dun. Okay, we're about to do part two. Thoughts or anything, Vanessa?
Um, I mean, overall, I just like this story because I like the princess bodyguard theme, Forbidden Love. I just enjoyed it.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was cute.
Uh, Part two. So it's 6 weeks later, and Bridget is crowned princess. And Rhys did not take Bridget up on her offer to stay. So these weeks have been an adjustment for her. She spent a lot of time in the state again because she never thought she was going to be crowned princess. And so the people are calling her part-time princess. Like no one's taking her seriously, really. Like not even like her people. So she has like a lot to learn. She has to try to change public, you know, opinion on her.
Hmm.
And while like all this is happening, we meet her best friend growing up, Michaela. So she's Bridget's right hand woman, and she's teaching her about like the society, like the rules of what's happening in Eldora because she's not there, right? She doesn't know who's who, or I mean, I think she knows, but she just like doesn't know much about them.
Hmm.
And Michaela talks a lot about making sure you marry like who you're supposed to marry. So like this whole marriage law, the reason why her Nikolai stepped down. And we also learned that Michaela is like I think they said a baron. She's like at the bottom of the list of royals. So like she's always try to be like one up in society. And I think that's kind of important later on to her character. But like again, she grew up as Bridget's best friend, so like Bridget trusts her. Uh, and so so then while she's learning all this, Bridget's grandfather pulls her aside to give her three pieces of information. First piece of information: her cousin Andres is moving into the palace, and Andres is now second in line for the throne, and he doesn't believe women should rule. Two, Bridget's grandfather being ill, his condition is not predictable. So he's pretty much saying that like Bridget needs to marry sooner than later. I think he said like by the end of the year, of someone of noble blood because they have no idea. Like he could drop dead essentially, and they're like, we need for you to be okay. Then third, Rhys Larson will be joining her security detail permanently. So,
He's
so why
back.
did he leave? And then we get Rhys's point of view, and Rhys like regrets leaving Bridget's side immediately. So like he wants his job back as her bodyguard. We also find out during this that like Rhys doesn't like Andorra, and it's because it just comes with a lot of baggage with him. Uh, which we find out later why. And then during this, when he's like flying back to Andorra, he like runs into, and this is what I don't understand. He's like at the airport or like getting his bag or something off an airplane, and Andres is there. He doesn't know who Andres is, but I think Andres knows who he is because
Yeah,
later on in the book,
I think he
it's just
did.
whatever. I'm just thinking, how are you next in line and you're just taking a regular airplane?
I know. And also, how
Like,
did you know that he would be there? Or maybe he did and he just saw him. He's like, oh, I know who you are. Let me just go
yeah, I don't think he
sneak
knew he
up.
was coming, but I think he's like, "Oh, I know who you are." But I'm
Yeah.
just this whole time like, maybe if he was like third in line, or like there was that big succession, but essentially, God forbid if anything happened, like let's just say hypothetically, like Bridget dies, like he's next in line. They're going to protect him. You know what I mean? Like, how are you just like on a normal airplane with everyone else? Like, don't like, isn't there like a royal craft that, or something
I
you should be
know.
taking?
Don't like the British royals, like all like the Prince William's cousins and stuff, like they all seem
Yeah,
like they're, you
they're
know.
all like, I was like, how are you just like on like a United plane or whatever? But it's a book. It's not real. Um, so Rhys like finally heads back to the palace. Like he's like itching to see Bridget, only to find out like once he runs into her, he finds out that she's planning her 24th birthday ball, which is also going to be used as a matchmaking to find her husband. And of course, Rhys is pissed. He's jealous. He's like, "What the fuck? I come back and this is what you're doing." So the night of Bridget's birthday ball, there are not really many prospects that like Bridget likes. She does meet Stefan, and he's like a potential husband, and she agrees to go on a date with him again later on. We also meet the Speaker of Parliament, and he's a jerk. He does not want Bridget to rule at all.
I hated that
He's
guy.
just, yeah, he's an old asshole, in my head, white man. So,
I think
um,
so. I
yeah,
agree.
like in my head, he's an old asshole
He's
white
just the
man.
guy you like want to punch in the face and like
Yeah. um, and at the end of the night, um, Rhys gives Bridget, because she's been like dancing and everything, but like at the end of the night, he gives her her birthday present, which is a portrait that he drew himself of their last night in Costa Rica. And Bridget loves it. But this is also like an awe moment because like for her, they agreed to like never talk about that night ever again. And like him giving her this portrait just means like he remembers that night as much as she did.
hmm
So I'm loving this. So Bridget goes on their second date with Stefan, and she like has to kiss him. Like Michaela makes a comment like, "You don't know if you like him because you haven't kissed him yet." So she like kisses him, and the kiss was terrible. There was like no spark. There was no chemistry between them. Rhys does not take this too well at all. Like he like I think drops or breaks something to like stop the kiss, like a flower pot or something like crashes,
Oh
and then
yes.
they end up yeah, then they like end up in the parking lot of they're like in the botanical garden, and like Stefan goes home, and then something to notice, Stefan's like grandma or aunt or someone's having like hip surgery. So Rhys is like, yes, for that to recover it takes like 6 months. So he's like not gonna be in her life for like 6 months. Uh and then they're in the parking lot, and he essentially pushes Bridget up against the car, and he's like touching her inappropriately, essentially, not the way a bodyguard should. And he tells her, the truth, princess. Oh, because she asked, like, why did you come back? And he says, the truth, princess, is I came back knowing this is what I signed up for, to see you every day and not be able to touch you, kiss you, or claim you. I came back despite the torture, just because I couldn't stay away from you. Even when you're not there, you're everywhere. You're in my head, you're in my lungs, you're in my fucking soul. So he's like telling her essentially that like he is falling in love with her. I also want to go back. I just want to go back to
The
that line.
foreshadow.
If we're not in the palace, anything can show up anywhere.
I
So
was
they are in the middle of the parking lot. He has her pushed up against a car, touching her. Like they're probably this close, and they're so close in proximity. They're probably like barely about to kiss, and all this is happening in public. So
I was like, there's no way there is not one person that's not seeing you right now. Like, and I'm like trying to
same.
visualize this parking lot. I'm like, is this like an enclosed parking lot that has walls? Like, you guys are so
You know,
exposed.
uh, that's a good point. I'm gonna go with no, just because like it's the Botanic Garden. I feel like but like the whole point is to be outside, so the parking lot's outside.
I was like, y'all are gonna get
That's how
caught.
I envision it. Yeah. Okay. So Bridget decides to go on a tour of the country because, again, remember she doesn't have the best public opinion. Like the public doesn't have like the best opinion of her. So she decides to go like a tour in the country to see like how she can help, how she can be like a better princess slash queen when the time comes.
Mhm.
And she ends up really loving the tour. She sees like she meets people, she sees like part of her country, and then she starts like this letters program where people can like write letters to her, and she'll like bring it up to parliament, and it turns out to be like very successful.
Hmm.
But while they're on this tour, Rhys and Bridget like get to know her a little bit better. And Rhys tells her that his father is Eldorian, and his mom believed that like one day he would bring her here. So now we know why Rhys doesn't like the country, because his dad is somewhere here and he left his mom, and his mom turned as violent as she was because of him. So it's late at night, and like Rhys, I think they're like in a hotel or inn or something, and Rhys like walks her back to the room, and again, walls are paper thin, all this stuff's happening, and essentially right outside her door. So they don't even make it inside the door; they're outside the door in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah, another exposed
Uh,
area.
another super exposed area that's not the palace. They like they like kiss, and it's like a hot little kiss, and he like starts to finger her in just the middle of the hallway,
Hmm.
and she can't yell. But again, I mean, I feel like I hear when people are in the hallway of a hotel, so
Yeah, for sure.
not great. Someone like makes noise and they start to come out, and then Reese says, "There's this gazebo. Like we'll head to the gazebo tomorrow night." So, dun dun dun. Next chapter is very, very spicy. We're now in part 2 of the book, and they finally do it. Like, no more imaginary, no more almost up until then. Um, so they're in an. I would like to say they're also in an open gazebo. It's not like they're like in a
Yeah.
barn or something where they can like shut the door. Like
These two
it's
have so many
nighttime.
rules and they've broken all of their rules.
It's like nighttime and they're like in this open gazebo. And again, I would just like to go back to what the book said. Unless I'm in the palace, there's always a chance what I do will end up in the papers. So, I mean, they do all types of stuff, but Reese tells her, like, if they do this, for sure, like, she's his and no one else is, and no one will touch her. I think he says that, like, he knows how to kill 78 ways and make
Oh
like
yeah.
73 of them look like an accident or
Uh-huh.
something. So like she's like, we're doing this, and so they do it.
I'm sure
Uh
I'm sure a lot of girls when they were like reading that they were like, "Oh my God."
so Reese and Bridget, like they've done it now. And so now they like head back to the palace, and they're like in their honeymoon stage. So they're anywhere they think they can do it, they're gonna do it. And they do. So they're like little bunny rabbits just doing it all over the castle. Um, um, and the next few chapters are spicy. They're not as spicy as the first time they do it, but like anytime they can essentially do it, the author puts it in there. Bridget and Reese essentially,
Oh wait,
so
there's a throne scene, right?
yes, I
Oh,
think I
not that
write, did I
happened
write it
yet?
down? I don't know if I did or not. I don't know if it's forward or back, but we can
I
talk
was
about
gonna
the
say, it
throne
just
scene.
reminded me of another
No, we could say,
couple.
yeah, it reminded me of Fourth Wing when he's like, my chair.
Yeah,
What do you say? My house, my chair, my woman.
yeah. I
Uh,
was like, hey.
honestly, Reese essentially says the same thing, even though it's not his chair, it's not his house,
And
and
not yet.
unofficially not his woman. He pretty
Exactly.
much says the same thing.
So yeah, that reminded me of
Um,
it.
so uh, they can't have a lot of moments because she's the crown princess and he's just the bodyguard. So they are able to sneak away to a hotel at the outskirts of town, and they're seeing that Bridget's having like a spa day.
Mm.
Bridget asks Reese like if he ever wants to find out who his dad is just for like closure. And Reese says no, but if he ever wanted to, he knew he could because Christian Harper, his boss, aka we'll get into him in 2 more books really more, has been saying I can find out who your dad is. He's a hacker, millionaire, billionaire person. And remember, Reese is a bodyguard, but he's also a bodyguard through like a contract. And Christian owns like the biggest security thing in the world. So like he was contracted through the palace through like Harper Security.
Hmm.
As they leave the room, they run into Stefan, and he's there with another woman. clearly something is going on with them.
Very
But the
suspicious.
woman, the woman ends up pushing Stefan and Bridget together, and she was like, "Oh, like didn't you want to ask her to like be your date to her brother's wedding?" Rhys is like, no one touch her. She's mine. Dun, 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 dun. But again, Rhys and Bridget come to the realization that like she needs to get married soon. That it was one of the things her grandfather said she needed to do. While they love each other, Rhys is not of noble blood. That is the whole reason why she's even in this situation is because her brother stepped down because of this, right?
Yeah.
So then we find out Bridget internally, she doesn't tell this to Rhys, but she decides that she wants to try to overturn the marriage law. And I think this is the first time that like she admits to herself but doesn't admit to herself that like she loves him, because now she's like willing to overturn this, and she wouldn't need to have a reason to overturn this law if she didn't like love him. Like I
Hmm.
don't think she's like come to the full on realization that she loves him, but like deep down it's stirring because she's even thinking about this. The only way to repeal this law is for the speaker to bring the motion to the floor and 3/4 majority of parliament votes in its favor. So that's a little interesting, just got to figure out these laws. And remember, the Speaker of the House doesn't, or Speaker of the House, I'm acting like we're American. The Speaker of Parliament doesn't like Bridget, like doesn't really want her to be queen, and all these things. So now it's her brother's wedding, and Rhys cannot stand Bridget dancing with Stefan. He is getting so jealous. He doesn't care about the law or that she's going to be queen. In his head, you're mine. So like Rhys makes up a lie to get Bridget to leave Stefan's side and like go to the library. She says like he has her phone, and he's like, "Oh, Jules needed you for something," which is like one of her best friends. So she like leaves the room, and he takes Bridget into the library of her brother's house. So like this is also I think a little important. So like they're in the private residence essentially of like what's going to be Nikolai's house, and there's construction going on in the library, and he takes her there where he punishes her sexually essentially. I don't know if we can say punish because she was completely turned on and here for every single moment of what was happening to her. So I don't know if we can say punish, but I think it was teetering on the point of like hurtful and enjoyment or like
Yeah.
pleasure. So like she was definitely like in between like those two things, but like she was here for all of it. Like it was definitely consensual. And
Yes.
so after they do it, and he like really roughs her up. Like he's like pulling her hair, she doing all these things. She can't go back. Like she's a mess. Like she can't just like walk back to where the wedding is or the reception. Like
He's like, you'll know.
she's like, yeah, she's the future queen. You can't, yeah, like you can't just like what were you doing, Miss
Yeah, they're gonna
Miss
be like,
Queen?
are you okay?
Yeah, like I think they were saying because like she was like kind of crying at one point. Like her mascara was coming, like her hair's out of place. Like luckily, I don't think he ripped any of her outfits, but that would have been so hard for her to like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just like ripped my dress. I fell
Just fell down the
what do you
stairs.
say? So she pretty much just like goes back to her room or whatever because she can't go back to the party. Then like it's like I think a day later or 2 days later, Bridget gets an email, and she gets an email from her private email that like only few amount of people have access to her private email. And in the email, the subject says, "Not careful enough, Your Highness," and attaches a video of her and Rhys like in the library, and it doesn't paint neither one of them in a great like light.
Mm-hmm.
So Bridget also believes that her cousin Andres is behind the video, but she doesn't have any proof because he was like looking for her, and she was like, "Why was he looking for me like after the wedding or at the reception?" But she also chooses to not tell anyone about this video. And this is what I'm gonna say: two things. Like I understand why she didn't say anything about this video. And like we learned later that like nothing really comes out of this video, that no one really like is blackmailing her. But like
Yeah.
if I was a royal, or if I was anyone of a celebrity and someone had a sex tape of me, I don't know, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna figure this out later.
I
Like I'm
know.
gonna use what like
I'd be freaking out the whole time.
and I mean in the book she like is freaking out, but like she's also like doing nothing about it. And I'm like, the second this leaks, it's like all over the internet. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would be doing much more than it's like sitting on my ass for 2 seconds. Like she is freaking out, but it's like you do have to get ahead of this. And like, I don't know if I was in the situation. I mean, I know she doesn't want to tell anyone that she's dating Rhys because like that brings up a whole can of worms. But like, I feel like this getting out is worse, and you don't know who sent it. So
Yeah. I feel
I
like
don't necessarily agree with all that, but
I
yeah,
I
whatever.
feel like with a lot of the traumas, I guess that happen, like all like the things that have the kidnapping, the sex tape, the like just almost getting killed in every book. They just like casually just like move past these things. I'm like, are you guys okay? Do you know it's not normal for best friends in a group to all have been kidnapped, almost killed, like blackmailed? Like this is not normal.
Yes, you're right. Like maybe one of you guys, but all four of you?
I know. And like severe trying to getting murdered by your dad. Like,
Yeah.
are you guys
Getting pushed
okay?
down, yeah, getting pushed downstairs by a stalker. Like,
Honestly. But
yeah. No, but honestly, good point. Good point. So again, she doesn't tell anyone about this video. It's at the end of the week, and Rhys takes Bridget to a gazebo that's like off the beaten track. So again, it's in public. It is very much in public, but it's like off the beaten track of I don't know where, a park or something. And Rhys says they never had their dance at the wedding. And then Bridget's like, "You don't dance," and he's like, "I don't dance with anyone unless it's you." And I was like, "Oh, how cute." But alas, all good things must come to an end. The next morning, Michaela like wakes up Bridget and she tells her to turn on the daily tea. Go ahead and show your little cup there because it's like the daily tea for the people who are listening. She has her cup of tea. And the daily tea is running a story about Bridget being in a relationship with her bodyguard. And they're framing it as like he's an American contractor. And then they have all of these pictures. They have pictures of when she was in the botanical garden. They have pictures of her leaving the hotel room together. They have all these pictures. And I just want to say again, unless I'm in the palace, there is a chance what I do will end up in the papers. So she knew this. And like, she wasn't choosing to be smart because I do think they could have had a relationship. And if they had been a little bit smarter, they could have kept it a secret longer. I think the only time that like they got caught that they shouldn't have gotten caught, which I would think would be like a violation of privacy, would be when they were doing it in the library of her brother's private residence. Like that
yeah.
is the only place that like shouldn't have had a camera. But
Hmm.
everywhere else, like you were fucking in an open gazebo. You had a dance in an open gazebo. You coming out of a hotel, like not at
Yeah.
all smart. Immediately Bridget is like uh whisked away into like an important meeting with her grandfather, her brother, and Elaine, the communications director, secretary. I forgot what they say it across the pond. I think it's like secretary, but she's like the highest person in the communications department. And she confesses that the story is true, but they're like, oh, we can't have this go out there. And then all of it, and then Bridget's grandfather says that she needs to end things immediately, and she says no. And the next thing we know, her grandfather has fallen on the ground because he's had a heart attack. Rhys was fired immediately and has to wait 4 days before he can even see Bridget. Once he sees her, like Bridget feels responsible for her grandfather's heart attack. But she's
Yeah.
not only feeling like she's like, my mom died because of me. My dad died because of me. Now my grandpa might die because of me. So she needs some therapy. I don't know if they give queens therapy, but like clearly she needs some therapy. She needs to like let some stuff off her chest.
Yeah.
And and Rhys is like, it could have been anything. Like it's not necessarily her. And so she's like, no, I need to end things with you. And Rhys is like, I do not accept that. And he was like, and then he tells her, the mess with the pictures we'll figure out. He grasped her chin and said, I told you you're mine and I'm not letting you go. I don't care if the whole entire Eldorian army tries to drag me away. So again, I don't know, like Rhys to me, out of all four of the books, he's the most romantic guy. Like I didn't say this, but like I don't. In the book, it says like she was sick and he brought her soup. Like I didn't. Obviously, we're not talking about that, but like he does so many little things. I think that is like so sweet. Like he made her graduation worth it. He did this, and I just think like he's just like the most romantic out of all of them.
Hmm.
He also was the first like once they decided like they kiss, he like just like made it known that he likes her, you know, and like I wouldn't say love yet. None of the other ones do that. Like essentially from the get go, we know that he loves her. So I like
Yeah,
that.
that was very sweet, very romantic. Goes with the
Yeah.
romantic vibes of the book.
So Bridget and Rhys essentially share a very passionate few hours. Rhys tells Bridget, Rhys tells Bridget that in Costa Rica, you asked me if I loved anyone, and I said no. So ask me now. And Bridget's like, she can't ask because she knows that he's gonna say he loves her, and she cannot handle it. And she says, because I will be queen much sooner than I thought. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I'm going to be queen. The coronation is going to be in about 9 months. I'm going to be queen because my grandfather's going to step down. He agreed that like if he has anything else that's going to put him in the hospital again, he was stepping down. So she's like, because of the royal marriage law, I have to marry someone of noble blood. They talk with the Stefan, and he is essentially going to ask her to marry him in about a month. It's going to be completely staged, but they have like a month or a month and a half. Rhys is pissed and he like walks away. And Rhys never drinks alcohol, but he's like getting drunk in a bar somewhere. And good old Christian Harper, his old boss, just comes up, and he gives Rhys an envelope and he says, "This is the name of your brother and father." He's like, "If you want to read it." So the paper says that Andres, Bridget's cousin, is his father or is his brother, and the Speaker of Parliament is his father. Dun, 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 dun. I forget how they say Andres is related to him, but I'm like, does that make him slightly related to Bridget?
That's what I thought too. I'm like, wait a minute.
I I think it's the parent who wasn't royal. Like, obviously, it's the mom because, but I guess
So,
he's her cousin through the dad. I guess maybe because if it was the mom and the mom was the one that was the royal or like related to Bridget, like it would. Does that make sense? Like it would have to be. I think Andres's dad is the one who's related to Bridget's family, not Andres's mom.
yeah, and he's the one that never. He's the one. Wait, is he the one that told Andreas that he wasn't really his dad?
Wait, what happened?
Like, isn't Andreas like not really actually related to them by blood? His dad, like the real dad, is a speaker, right? So
Yes.
he's actually not technically a royal.
Oh, yes. He's not a royal, but I do think he might be considered noble. I don't. That's a good point, actually. I don't know. We'll see what they make it in the book, but I do think he is because he's a speaker. I do think he's like high up there, so he might be considered like noble. Like he might be like at the bottom, like the way Michaela is like a baron. But I do think he might be considered to be maybe noble. But I don't know. But
I
that's the
mean,
point,
like
actually.
Andreas though. Andreas isn't really.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
technically you're right. I guess
yeah,
because it's he's an illegitimate
yeah,
child now,
yeah.
so he wouldn't be considered noble blood. Yep. So Rhys is like, oh my gosh. So he goes pays his brother a visit like the next day, and it finds out that Andres already knew that they were brothers. So I'm thinking like on the airplane, like Andres already knew that that was his brother.
Mm.
It's again weird that he was just like on an airplane that like he would be on, but he was just kind of weird about that. And he essentially says that he has a way that he think he can help overturn the royal marriage law. He also says that like he doesn't have an issue with Bridget being queen. Like he knows that like all these people think that he truly just wants to do what's best for the country, but he also doesn't want to give up his freedom. So he's also like, if Bridget wants to be queen, cool. I'm not necessarily trying to be king here, but I do want what's best for my country. He's just like essentially portraying a certain persona.
Hmm.
So you now kind of like Andres. He's not like the jerk that you
Yeah.
think he is.
Hmm.
It's been a few days, and Bridget's grandfather, like he's out of the hospital. I think it's actually been a few weeks, and he pays her a visit, and he tells her that it's not her fault that he had a heart attack. That like he was sick and it was bound to happen, and he knows that she's been very unhappy ever since she like ended thing with Rhys. So he said that you need to do whatever you need to do to like make this work. And he just like walks away. He's like, this is on you to figure out, but like you need to do whatever you need to do to do this. And so she picks up her phone and she calls Alex. Ava's honeyboo. So dun, 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 dun.
Alex always coming through in all the books.
I know him and Christian,
Yeah.
honestly. Josh can contribute almost nothing to anything. So,
It's like connections billionaire, Josh, connections billionaire of all the men.
uh, so Bridget gets her old bodyguard back, Booth, because now he's living back in Andorra also. A few days passed after Bridget like originally called Alex. I think it might even have been like a week to like ask for help. And like this night, Booth comes through and gives Bridget a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper it says 9 p.m. tonight, Princess, 2 chairs. So she knows immediately who wrote it. It was Rhys, and he's saying to like meet at the well, not the first time, but like where they had the connection where she said, I want to share this spot with someone special. And during that time, her friends come to visit. Alex like flies all the friends over. So like Ava, Stella, and Jules come, and they're like, they know that her life's been like crazy with like everything that's going on in like the papers. They couldn't come right away because like they had to, figure out like internship stuff, whatever. But they're essentially there for the weekend, and they're just like, are giving Bridget support.
Hmm.
So at the end of that night, when like everyone goes home, Alex gives Ava a USB drive, and on this USB drive has essentially blackmail on all of Parliament, so she can try to get this law repealed. And Alex tells her, "You are very." She was like, "He's like, you should go look at Arthur Erhal's folder first, and that is the Speaker of the House." Or Speaker of the House, Speaker of Parliament. I'm like American Speaker of Parliament. So Bridget like looks and finds out the truth that like Rhys is the son. So and she does this before she meets him. So like she's late meeting him, and she's late meeting Rhys. But when she finally like meets him, like he's like freaking out that she's not gonna come. But she shows up, and they're on the roof, and they essentially say that they're gonna do whatever it takes to be together. Like they just like agree that they're gonna do that. And shit gets very spicy on a lawn chair. I'm gonna be very honest. I don't think that is any type. I mean, obviously you can do it on a lawn chair, but in my head, I'm picturing like the plastic ones, like with like the metal, and like that's not comfortable.
Like the rubbery ones where like you
Yeah,
just like your skin just like sinks
yeah.
through.
Like I'm not at all picturing very
I
comfortable lawn chairs.
I would like to think the Eldoran royalty have some of those nice sturdy ones
I
too.
agree, but this is supposed to be like a secret place. So, you know what I mean? So like I'm thinking it has like the bare minimum. So anyways, Bridget hosts a press conference where she tells the public that she is, in fact, in love with Rhys Larson, and she thinks that the royal marriage law should be repealed. Up until now, she's actually been very popular with the public, doing like that whole when she went on her tour, all these things. Like the public actually like is on Bridget's side. And then Bridget starts like trending positive with the public, so she's like using all of this to her advantage. And again, remember, in order for the law to be repealed, the speaker must bring it forward. So Bridget and Rhys go pay the Speaker of Parliament, aka Rhys's real father, a visit, and they essentially blackmail him. They're like, if you don't put this motion forward, they're going to leak to the press that Rhys is your son. And he's actually up for re-election. And they're pretty much like, if this scandal gets out, there's no way you're going to win election. So he's like, fine. So he puts the motion forward. It's like a month later, and the laws are repealed by one good old vote, because it wouldn't be a story, it wouldn't be a good plot if it was just
Yep.
like one vote that separated everything. Meanwhile, Rhys has Christian look into who sent the photos to the press, and Bridget also finally told Rhys. It's been months. She finally decides to tell Rhys there's a sex video of them out there. So Rhys also has Christian, who's like a big hacker security person, look into who has the video. Turns out Michaela, her best friend, who she trusted when they were younger, her best friend now are Jules, Ava, and Stella, but Michaela is leaked the photos under the direction of Elaine, the royal like communication secretary, and they're both dismissed. But Bridget is again particularly hurt that Michaela did this, and Michaela was just like, I thought I was doing the right thing. Like, you don't understand how society works. Like, I'm already at the bottom. I didn't want you to be. And I do feel a little bad for Michaela because she really was doing it out of the interest of Bridget. And she essentially did it with Elaine telling her to do it. And Michaela is such like a rule follower to, the crown.
Yeah.
She was just like, oh, if the director of communications told me to do this, of course I'm gonna do it. So I do
Yeah.
feel bad, but like I also get it. Like she should have never have done that. 3 months pass, and Rhys takes Bridget on a little vacation. They go to Costa Rica. Rhys ends up buying the mansion, and he's pretty much like, this mansion will always be ours. And he proposes to her. So, because remember, she does have to get married very soon. So it's 6 months later, and we're at Bridget's coronation. So she is now queen, making Rhys prince consort in waiting. I absolutely love that they made the woman the queen. It wasn't like, he's like, let me hold your purse now. He's just like
Yep.
the one to the side. Uh, Interesting though, Andorra officially elects its first female monarch in over a century.
Ooh.
So welcome to the year 2025. I'm not sure if that's when this book's going to take place, but welcome to the year.
And she already changed the
Three,
law.
yeah, she did. 3 months later, Bridget marries Rhys. During the reception, dun, 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 Josh and Jules goes missing, and everyone's like looking for them, and like they have no idea where they are. And Ava's like, I hope they didn't kill each other because they hate each other. We
Yeah.
will.
The first time those two got introduced in the first book, I was like, these two are gonna end up together. I just know it. Like they hate each other too much to not end up together.
So we'll find out why they were missing when in the next book. But something else we see is uh, Bridget is like watching Christian, because Christian's like, essentially Christian's like Rhys's friend, even though whatnot, and he is just like staring at Stella, and Bridget's like, ooh, I'm gonna have to keep like an eye on him. So in Stella's book,
Yeah.
and that's how we end this. So, what are your thoughts on this book compared to book one?
Book one, I think I liked it. I don't know. I feel like there's parts that I like about book one, but I feel like I like the story of book two. And I think just how the characters work with each other. Because I like how Bridget and Rhys, like, kind of, once Bridget told Rhys that, like, about the law or whatever, like, they worked together to change it. She's like, I have a plan. And then he's like, all right, let's do your plan. And then they did it. And as, like, a little, you know,
Yeah.
they worked toward the
Um,
goal.
I think, and I said this in our other video, but I think my favorite book is Jules and Josh's story, just because I think there's the them two is like the most realistic. But after that one, I definitely think Twisted Games is the next one that I like the most. I also think that this book, every other book is like, in the first book it was like Ava loved Alex, and Alex like loved Ava, but like he was keeping a secret from her like the whole time, and they couldn't like really be together because like this secret.
Yeah.
Then we have like and then once we talk about Jules and Josh's book, the whole thing was like they're like their brother's best sister, whatever, best friend. They can't be together because they hate each other. So like they were like never like working together essentially to like
Yeah.
be together. Kind of the same thing with Christian and Stella. Christian's hiding this huge secret from Stella. Like we'll find that out
Yeah.
when we go into the book, and then like Stella's going through some stuff. But
Yeah.
I think in this one, essentially, this book takes place over like 4 or 5 years, and like from the get go, they knew that they liked each other, and they weren't like playing around. They weren't. Everything was like real,
Yeah.
and anytime Bridget had to be with another man, it was because like she was queen and it was expected of her. But like she wasn't like enjoying it. She wasn't like doing it to get back at him.
Yeah.
It wasn't any of this. And so I do think like this is like one of the more romantic books, I guess, of the
Yeah.
all four. Yeah.
And she communicated everything to him. It's not like she was also just like not telling him that she
Yeah.
had to marry
I will
somebody.
say though, I don't know why it's called Twisted Games. I don't know why that went over my head. Like I understand why Ava's and Alex's Twisted Love. I understand why. What's Josh's and who's Twisted
Twisted
Lies?
hate.
Oh, Twisted Hate, obviously, because they like hate each other. So like I understand why that's called that. Twisted Lies is Stella and Christian. I understand because Christian like lies to her for like
Lies. Yeah.
80% of the book. So I completely understand that. I just don't know why this one's called Twisted Game. Like what games were they playing? Because they were
I feel like they
essentially
weren't really.
honest. Yeah, they were honest with each other like the whole time. So I don't know, but I love
Yeah.
it. I can't wait for this to be a Netflix series.
I know. Me neither.
Okay.
I'm invested.
So we're almost done. We're almost done with our episode. We now it's time for things to get a little sassy.
Oh, snap.
Um, we have two little topics that I want to talk about. First topic is like duty versus desire. And in the book, Bridget has like royal obligations and it conflicts with her own personal desire, right? Like her brother stepped down. If she also advocates, then it goes to like Andres. And before they knew Andres was like cool, they're like, it can't go to him. Their
Mhm.
family would essentially like lose this. So she like sneaks around and does all this because she feels like she can't do that for personal desires. So my question to you is, do you ever feel like sometimes you feel like you have to have like a duty to your family versus like desire? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like falling in love, but like you wanted to do something, like get a tattoo or something, and your mom would be like that, like like it doesn't have to be as drastic as this, but like anything that where you felt like you had to be have duty to your family versus something that you really wanted to do.
So I feel like this kind of plays into it, but like being a parent, so like you want to do things all the time, but you really can't because you have to look out for these little people. So like if I want to go out do something or like travel somewhere, you can't just like pick up and go. Like I have a duty to be like, okay, well, is it a good time? Do I have a babysitter? Is it financially responsible? Like all these things, you know? So I feel like that plays into it a little bit. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but also you love your kids, so you gotta do what's good for them.
Oh, I love that. Because I'm sure a lot of mothers or parents out there will definitely relate to that. So you want to do what you can. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I have no children. I don't even have a dog. So I have a dog through my sister. She has a dog, and we joke that like I'm the firm auntie. Because one thing about me is I will not let a dog or a child rule me. Like I will be very stern, but I will be very loving. Like I'm very like I love that dog already. We've only had it for like she just adopted the dog I think like
Aw,
2 3 months ago. Absolutely love her name. We call her name is Cleopatra because she looks like kind of like the pharaoh dogs. But we call her Cleo for short, so little Cleo.
cute.
I already love Cleo very much, but I get to play with Cleo and then be like, "Hey, Linda, come get your dog." So it was very nice. I get all the
You
fun
get
part of
best
having
of
a
both
dog.
worlds, essentially.
Yeah, I get all the fun part of having a dog, but not actually have a dog. So I'm loving it. Uh, but I would have to say, as an older sibling, I get that a lot. I think especially growing up, there were like a lot of things that like I couldn't do because I was the older sister or this and that things that I wanted to do just for the rules to be changed for my younger sister. Like she got to do it and I didn't get to. So, but
Yeah.
like I didn't do it. So I definitely think like duty versus desire. I think a lot of people can relate to. I think if you have like a certain responsibility within your like family dynamic,
Hmm.
no matter what it is, I think that is also super very important. So
Yeah,
love that.
for sure.
And next question. We talked about Alex. Is Rhys toxic? Is this a toxic relationship?
I would say less toxic than Alex. But in every single book, I'm pretty sure all the men are always like, once we do this, like you're mine, right? So like
Mhm.
that's always a little bit toxic. Like you're not even technically together. You're just you have feelings for each other, you're having sex, but then it's like, okay, once we have sex, you can't no other man can touch you ever again. I'm like, it's a little bit toxic considering you fully know that she has to marry somebody else to be queen. So you already know that's impossible at that moment.
Um, I have to agree with you. I actually don't really think Reese is. I think out of all of them, he's the least toxic. Then it would have to be
I think so
Josh.
too.
Yeah, I think he's like the least toxic because I think he like he first of all his job is and he's an ex Navy SEAL, and like they talk about like how he was in war, how he lost friends, like all this stuff. He's also a bodyguard, so his job requires him to essentially be violent. Not that he's violent towards Bridget,
Hmm.
but like his job requires him to like kill people. He has had to kill people. It's not like Alex, who's like the CEO of a company, being like, oh, I have a like I can just kill you and hide it. He's
Yep.
not going after people because they piss him off.
Yep. Yeah.
Like his job requires him to be this way
Hmm.
from the get-go. Like I said, romantic wise, being sweet to their other person, he by far is the I think the best out of all of them without lying, right? Because like yes, Alex was very sweet with Ava. Josh and Jules have the relationship with whatever, but he's sweet to her kind of in his own way. But like, there's
Yeah.
like a big secret hiding between them there. Same thing with Christian and Stella. Like Christian, like essentially lets Stella live everywhere for free and pays, but like
Yeah.
he's also hiding something. Like I feel like he was the most upfront and honest. He might have
Hmm.
not said like "I love you," but like his actions showed her multiple times that he loved her.
Yeah.
So I don't know like if he was like super toxic to me. Like yeah, he might have said some toxic stuff. Like I agree. Just because I F you doesn't mean that like you're mine or whatever. So I like maybe like not that line, but like I don't know. I really don't think he was like super, super toxic. Like he loved her.
I agree. I feel like even compared to Josh, I think he was like the least toxic for sure.
Yeah. So
Josh had his moments.
all right. So we know this got picked up by Netflix. And so we're only gonna cover the people in this story because obviously, like I think the actual season will be like season one will be Ava and Alex, but we're gonna get more of like I think we'll get like more of little things. Like we might get a little bit of more like Stella Stalker, here or there. Like we'll just get more like character development. I think. I think the same here in this book. Though I will say this book might be a little bit harder because she's like not even in the States for half of it. But I do think they'll give us like she might call them more on FaceTime or whatever, and I think that we'll get more of that
Yeah.
of like character development. So we're just gonna cover the characters in this book, even though like Jules and Christian, all these other people were in it. We're just gonna do that. So who do you have for Miss Bridget?
Okay, I had potentially two people.
Okay.
Um, Nicola Peltz. Do you know who that is?
No.
She's like the girl. She's married to one of the Beckham kids,
Oh,
and she was
the
in
one who just had like the
Transformers.
big. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Or this other girl, Olivia Holt. She
Who's
was
she?
in the show Cruel Summer.
Oh, I
Like
haven't seen
the
that one.
oh, okay.
But
Good
I think
show.
I know who you're talking about because like the it's like one it's
She's
on
like the
it's
popular girl in the
yeah,
in
I
season
have a
one.
lot of TV shows and movies that I need to that I'm like are on my list, and that is one of the ones on my list. So I think I know who you're talking
Okay.
about. Ooh, for my Bridget, I had Elle Fanning.
Oh, I thought of her
I don't
too.
I don't know how realistic it is that she'll do this because I mean it's my dream cast, but she was in Catherine the Great or The Greats. I think it's called like on Hulu. She
Hmm.
killed being the queen, and I mean that is like a satire slash like all types. She played it so well. She's also though currently doing another book adaptation to a movie called Margot Got Money Problems.
Yeah.
Um, if you haven't read it, listen to this one on audio. There's no like spicy scenes. Like it's not like a spicy book, but essentially it's about a mom who gets pregnant and she can't. And she's like I think she's in college. She's like 19, 18. She's young. She like just is like a freshman or whatever in college, and she can't like make money, and she doesn't come from like rich family, so she turns to OnlyFans to like
Oh,
make money, and it's about like her supporting her kid
okay.
through this. Like, so Ella is already. I think they're filming it right now, or it's already filmed. She also plays the voice in the audiobook, so
Oh,
it's
nice.
a nice little yeah. So I don't know if Elle Fanning will do this, but I totally see her as Bridget.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you see as Rhys?
I put down Nicholas Galitzine. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
Who was he?
He was in, I forgot what it was. Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
No, you're good. Also, I hear it very loud.
So, have you seen The Idea of You with Anne Hathaway?
No, that is on my Amazon Prime, but I do know that one was targeted to me, and I do know that's like she's older and he's younger, and they're
Yeah,
together, right?
it's that
I know
guy.
who you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, I like that one. My Reese, again, I don't know if this would ever happen, but my Reese is Liam Hemsworth. But
He has to dye his hair.
that's fine. He could dye it. But
Yeah,
I don't know if he'll do it though, because I do think all the Hemsworth brothers look very similar. And he would have to grow his hair because it's like uh
yeah, it is a
Reese,
little
like in the
longer.
book, has like longer hair, and
Yeah,
I don't know if he would want to do that because his brother is Thor. So
I think he could do it. Cause wait, I
so
actually
I
thought he
don't know
had
if he would
dark
want to
hair.
do that because he would look so much, I think, like his brother in Thor. But I think for him being like like I think he just has a like he could be like a badass but like be sweet because he
Yeah.
was in like he was like in a what was the romance one with Miley Cyrus? Whatever,
Oh, the
whatever.
last
He's
song.
played romantic. Yeah, he's played romantic. So like I think he would be a good one.
And I think he had dark hair in the Hunger Games, so that would work.
Oh, I think you're right. He did have dark hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally see him.
yeah, I can
I
see that.
totally see Liam Hemsworth as him. Okay,
And he's the right
Prince
age.
Nikolai.
Oh, Prince Nicholas. I thought of Austin Butler
Oh, okay. I
or
can see him.
Bill Skarsgård.
I don't know who that is.
He he played it, the clown.
Oh,
But
I don't do scary. I
his
don't do
real
anything remotely this
person,
scary.
he's not scary looking. They just but that's who he played.
Oh,
Just Google him later. He's good looking.
I do no type of horror or anything, so you will never catch me watching it. Absolutely not.
Let me see what else he's been in.
Pass. I have just because Prince Nikolai is supposed to be like good looking, but he's essentially gonna have like no parts. I have Jeremy Allen.
Jeremy Allen.
He was the
Oh,
lip in Shameless, and he's in The
yeah.
Bear. He's like the head chef. I forgot his name in The Bear. Oh my god, I love that show. But yeah, I stuck to my
That
Chicago roots for that one. Okay, who do you have as the grandfather?
the grandfather, Ian McKellen. He's like the one of the Lord of the Rings guys or one of the X-Men guys, Magneto.
Oh, I think he'd be a good one. Oh, I like him.
Because he's
I
old but
have
also
Robert.
looks nice, you know.
Oh, I have Robert De Niro. Uh, because
Robert De Niro.
he's played like the grandpa or
Like,
like he was in a show with like Anne Hathaway. I think it's called The
oh,
Intern or
the intern,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and like there's another movie too that I'm forgetting where he plays like essentially like the wholesome like older grandpa whatever, and I think like he would just be a great grandpa.
Yeah,
And he's not gonna have many scenes. I feel like half the scenes he'll be in a hospital anyway. So who
probably.
do you have for the speaker?
The speaker of Ed Harris.
Oh,
Have you seen that? Or do you know who I'm talking about?
I think
Like he's from Westworld. Have you seen Westworld?
yes. So
He's
I
that
knew exactly
villain.
who you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew exactly what you're talking about. I think that is a great. That is, I love that. I have George Clooney because he's supposed to be like this heartthrob.
Wait, he is? I must have missed that.
No, well, remember because he has two kids out of wedlock, so people are just fucking him left and right earlier in the year, and like he has essentially has to be like an asshole now. I feel like George Clooney has played that character, and I am down for. So I have George Clooney.
I'd be interested to
Who
see
do
that
you?
because I feel like I can't picture George Clooney being that big of a dick. So that would be funny.
It's called acting.
Yeah.
Who do you have for Elaine, the press secretary or communications director who like leaked everything?
Okay, this is the one I didn't have somebody for. I couldn't think of
Hmm.
like a good person to fit.
So I have two people for this role.
Okay.
Um, but one person I kind of also want to use for next time. So I have Jane Lynch because
That's
because
funny.
she needs to be someone who's like firm.
Yeah.
who, and I just feel like I like Sue Sylvester. I feel like this is like this is like the role, right? And Jane Lynch played that.
Yep.
The next person I have is Julianne Moore.
I like that.
Um, but Julianne Moore could also be Jules's mom in the next one, I think. So
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we're when we do the next book, I want us to cast, and
I would like that
she
actually.
already she already has like red hair, like I think she could also just play that role. So I have
Mm-hmm.
two for the press second
Okay.
or communication director. Who do you have for Stefan?
Uh, Jacob Elordi. He was in that movie with like Joey King. I think it was The Kissing Booth.
Oh yes, I know.
I
Yes,
think that's
that
him.
was a movie or a TV show, but I know who you are. Netflix, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, that's also on my list, even though it's like 4 years old. It's on my list of things to watch. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I have Taylor Lautner.
Taylor
Because he's only
Lautner.
gonna be a few. He's only gonna be in a few scenes, and he needs to be like a hot guy. So
I
pick
like
him.
Taylor Lautner. I just don't know if
Yeah,
he's tall enough.
literally, they can put him on a box.
He's
It's
a short
fine.
king.
It's okay. Have you seen? There's a Hallmark. Her name is Stacy. I'm saying her last name, or not Stacy, Lacey Lirbert or something like that. She's so short. She like literally like takes pictures and like posts to her social media. She's like, I'm on a box for 80% of this. So they can make it work. It's called Hollywood Magic. They can make it work. It's fine. Um, and then last but not least, who do you have for Michaela?
Michaela, I chose Maud Apatow. She's in Euphoria.
Oh, I've
She's
only
like,
watched like which you in the first season. I
yeah,
went to the first season.
I didn't watch
That
it
show is just
either.
so dark. That show is just like such a dark show. Like you have to be mentally prepared to watch. Honestly, same with The Bear. Like you have to mentally the amount of yelling that goes on in that goddamn show. Like I have to be mentally prepared to see like 2 episodes.
I didn't really watch that show, but I just know she's in it. But she's one of the
Oh,
daughters in like This Is
okay.
40. Have you seen This
Oh,
Is
okay.
40? But she's obviously
I
older
like
now.
her. I don't know if you'll know who my next person is. But for Michaela, I have Ella Purcell. She
Like Google.
is in. I recently have seen her in Fallout. It's on Prime. I am a big like superhero, Marvel, Disney.
Ella Purnell?
This is like a video game that they brought to a show, but she absolutely kills it in this role. Like she
What?
kills it. I cannot wait for season 2 and 3. But Ella Purcell, she's in Fallout. If you're googling,
Oh,
but I see
Purnell.
her. Yeah, I see her as being Michaela.
I like her, yeah. I started watching Yellow Jackets and she's in that.
Oh yeah, she's. I love her. Um, and so we
I like
kind
that
of talk
choice.
that. Yeah. And after we do all 4 books, we can talk about because there's like a playlist that goes with every single one of the books. So after we do all 4, but this playlist, obviously, because it's royalty, they have a lot of like royal songs. They have like Queen by Lauren Gray, Castle by Halsey. Like they have all these things, and then they have. I think they have the wrong Taylor Swift song in here. They do a Taylor Swift song, and you and me are Swifties, and we love Taylor. But I think the reason why they have the wrong Taylor Swift song is because this song hadn't come out yet. So they have Wildest Dreams on here, which I think is absolutely appropriate because essentially the song's about like remember that time we were together or whatever. So like I absolutely think it's appropriate. But I always confuse the title of this song. Is it Castle's Crumbling or Crumbling Castle?
Castle's
Castle's
Crumbling.
Crumbling
Yeah.
on Speak Now. Yeah, and it's the Vault song. I think that song would have been like so appropriate for this. It just hadn't come out yet. So,
Yeah.
so I do
I like
think
both of
like
those for this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm down for having multiple songs of Taylor Swift on here. So big Swifty.
I think so, because they could do like the Summer I Turned Pretty style and then just throw the
Oh
songs in throughout the
yeah.
episodes.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. We'll do Twisted Hate next time. Do you have anything else you want to say, Vanessa?
For the next book.
Yeah. Well, thanks. We'll see you again.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.